This organization, ILEAP, is an organization that I've admired for a long time. So on behalf of the community, I want to welcome all of you, and especially the leaders that are here from the Tomodachi program with ILEAP. And you really are fortunate to be able to be a part of not just the Tomodachi program, but to be able to learn about leadership from this great organization. So Brett, thank you. As Brett said, I am on the U.S.-Japan Council Board, so I just wanted to give you a couple of minutes on the U.S.-Japan Council mission and a couple of the programs, some you know about, and really I think why it's so important personally for me to be involved with the U.S.-Japan Council. Now also I wanted to introduce another board member who's from our Seattle community on the U.S.-Japan Council Board. She's somebody that we wake up and bow to every morning, Jill Nishi, and organizes everything for us. And Jill, the reason that I am so happy Jill's now on the U.S.-Japan Council Board is last year in Seattle, we hosted the major U.S. conference, actually U.S.-Japan conference for the U.S.-Japan Council. And it's the first time that the U.S.-Japan Council moved the meeting outside of Washington, D.C. So we, as a group, got to host the U.S.-Japan Council meeting here in Seattle, and Jill really organized all of us. And I'd like to ask all of the local members of the U.S.-Japan Council team here, because they've really done much of the work, to stand up and just be recognized. Everybody here in local Seattle, USJC, stand up. Thank you. It's really great. So the U.S.-Japan Council mission, which I think all of you know about, is to promote U.S.-Japan relations through really people-to-people relationships. And so it really is important to us at the U.S.-Japan Council to make sure that we put young people together, which Tomodachi is a key part of that. But there are a number of other programs to do that. So there's one that the Consul General and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs sponsored called the Japanese American Leadership Delegation, or JALD. Now a number of us, everybody that stood up is a JALD delegate, so an alumni. So I was one of the delegates back in 2011. And unfortunately, our class, the JALD class, was there during the earthquake and tsunami, which was a very difficult thing for us. But when I got back, I got an email, or I guess when I was trying to get back, I got an email from one of our local Japanese American leaders, Tomio Moriguchi, who said, well, I knew you were a mover and a shaker, but I didn't realize how much. So that was Tomio's welcome back. But I think part of it was it left a deep impression on me. It was one of the first times, though I traveled to Japan for business much, it was one of the best, most meaningful programs that I got to participate in, because I really got to reconnect with my Japanese heritage. And my grandparents were both from different parts of Japan, emigrated to Hawaii and to Seattle. So it really gave me, I think, a chance to really reflect on the importance of my heritage, the connections to Japan, and really how important it is to make sure that those relationships between our two countries are very solid. So that's the JALD program. I'm not going to talk about the Tomodachi program because you're going to be hearing from a couple of our Tomodachi students, but it really, I think, has been a signature program for the U.S.-Japan Council since the earthquake, because the initial genesis was to help Japan recover in the earthquake hit area, but it turned out now to be what you see here is a real young people development program between our two countries, and I just couldn't be happier than some of you that I've met tonight hearing your stories. And our company, JP Chase, is one of the sponsors of one of the programs under Tomodachi to help young leaders go back and help rebuild, in a sense, the nonprofit sector. So we're really happy to be a part of that as a company as well. Another program that's a very important part is the Emerging Leaders Program. So we have in the U.S. Emerging leaders, mostly Japanese Americans, who participate in the programs to really become leaders in the United States as Japanese Americans. So as you can hear, the U.S.-Japan Council is really we Japanese Americans who care about the relationships between our two countries, who care about really maintaining, hopefully, a real strong bond so that we can see economic prosperity, we can see social good, we can see really, I think, just a bright future together. So that's my pitch for the U.S.-Japan Council. It's a terrific organization. We're part of a board of directors, Joe and I, of about, how many people do we have on the board? Is it about 30?
Yeah.
30 people across the United States. So it's a terrific organization, and Kaz Maniwa, who is part of the U.S.-Japan Council leadership team, I wanted to especially acknowledge him because he keeps the organization running all these great programs, and please stand and be recognized. So thank you, Kaz, and thank you all for being here.